Hey everyone, before I dive into this story, let me take you to a moment that shattered my heart. For 8 years, I gave my all to a marriage I believed was a partnership, a shared climb toward a life of love and dreams. I thought my husband and I were unbreakable, bound by sacrifice and trust. Then, one night, after pouring everything into lifting him up, he threw words at me that cut deeper than any knife. What happened next wasn't about fighting back. It was about rediscovering my worth, about building a life that celebrated me, not the pain I'd endured. Stick with me, because this story is raw, real, and will hit you right in the soul. Drop a comment to let me know where you're watching from, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This one's going to stay with you. My name is Rachel Harper. I'm 35, a financial planner living in Boulder, Colorado, in a cedar-shingled cottage where the front porch groans under fresh snow and the backyard hums with lavender bushes, their purple spikes dancing with bees in summer's golden light. I'm not one for grand stages. I find joy in the quiet clack of my calculator, the rustle of budget spreadsheets under lamplight, or the laughter of friends over steaming bowls at our monthly potlucks. But if there's one thing that's always defined me, it's my belief in devotion. Growing up in Boulder's lively foothills, I learned that love means showing up. Mom's chili bubbling on the stove, its spicy warmth curling through the house. Dad's tales of scaling Long's Peak, his voice steady as the granite cliffs. That's the life I dreamed of, and when I met Nathan at 26, I thought I'd found it. Nathan was a spark, with a smile that gleamed like sunlight on Boulder Creek, and a love for music that set rooms ablaze. We met at an open mic, the air thick with coffee and guitar strums. His Neil Young cover pulling me in. By our third date, I knew he was my forever. We married a year later in a meadow under the Flatirons, vowing to conquer every peak together. For 8 years, we built a life, buying our cottage, skiing Arapahoe Basin's powdery slopes, dreaming of kids and a music studio for Nathan's songs. Every year, we marked our anniversary with a potluck, Mom's clay dishes gleaming under candlelight, their earthy glaze warm, Nathan's guitar weaving melodies as we toasted to us. But last winter, a single moment broke everything I held dear. Our marriage wasn't flawless, but I thought it was ours. Nathan taught music, his days filled with guitar lessons, but his side gigs, bar performances, demo recordings, piled up a $70,000 debt, a heavy cloud of student loans and credit cards. I took it on, my financial planner's mind spinning, spreadsheets glowing late into the night, numbers dancing under my tired eyes. I'd tuck budget plans into his guitar case, their edges crisp, and he'd bring me lavender sprigs from the garden, their sharp, soothing scent a nod to our wedding bouquet. But a year ago, Nathan changed. He'd stumble home late, his flannel reeking of bar smoke and stale beer, his eyes shadowed. "Just gigs," he'd mutter, his voice flat as the frozen creek when I asked where he'd been. "Don't hover, Rachel." I tried not to. I told myself it was his passion. Music was his heart, and I wanted to fuel it. But the distance grew. He'd skip our potlucks, the kitchen silent without his strums, and brush off my budget talks with a wave. "You're always nagging," he'd snap, his words sharp as the crack of ice on the porch, slicing through the hum of the heater. I swallowed my pain, blaming myself for pushing too hard, and threw myself into our finances, taking extra clients, skipping my own dreams, paying down his debt with every spare cent. I'd polish Mom's clay dishes, their weight steady in my hands, and baked cornbread, its golden crust filling the house with warmth, hoping to hold us together. Last December, after 2 years of relentless work, I did it. I paid off Nathan's $70,000 debt. I sold my beloved Subaru, its leather seats worn from mountain drives, and cashed out Dad's small inheritance. Every dollar a piece of my heart to free us. I planned to tell Nathan at our 8th anniversary potluck, a surprise to spark a new chapter. I invited our closest friends, Jess, my coworker who loved my spreadsheets, Tom, Nathan's bandmate who shared his stage, and Clara, our neighbor whose lavender jam rivaled my gardens. I wanted this night to remind us we were one. But a week before, Nathan was a stranger. He'd linger in the garage, strumming jagged chords, the notes clashing in the frosty air, and snap when I asked about his day. "You don't get me, Rachel," he said, his voice cold as the snow outside. "I need room to breathe." The day of the potluck, I poured my heart into preparations, roasting a pork loin, its savory aroma weaving with Rosemary's piney bite, setting the table with Mom's clay dishes, their glaze catching the firelight's glow, arranging lavender sprigs in mason jars, their scent a fragile vow. I wore a burgundy sweater, its wool soft against my skin, my hair loose, praying Nathan would see my love. He came home late, his boots tracking wet snow, barely glancing at the table. "Looks fine," he mumbled, grabbing his guitar and heading to the garage. The doors creak a sharp rebuke. I pushed down my ache, welcoming our friends. Their chatter warming the house, the fireplace's crackle a steady heartbeat. But Nathan was distant, picking at his plate, his eyes on his phone. Jess caught my gaze, her brow furrowed, but I forced a smile, clinging to hope. After dinner, as friends sipped cider, its apple-sweet tang curling in the air, I stood, my heart hammering, and raised my glass, the crystal cool in my hand. "I have something to share," I said, my voice trembling, the lavender's scent grounding me. "Nathan, I paid off your $70,000 debt, every cent. I sold my car, used Dad's savings, worked nights. We're free now, together." The room erupted in cheers, Jess's eyes shining, Tom clapping Nathan's shoulder. But Nathan's face darkened, his glass clinking hard on the table. He stood, his voice low, venomous, the fire's glow casting shadows on his face. "You paid it off?" he hissed, his eyes like ice. "Without my say? God, Rachel, you're so controlling. You think you can run my life, but you're choking me." The room froze, the fire's crackle deafening, my breath trapped in my chest. Tears scalded my cheeks, the clay dishes blurring, the lavender scent now bitter as ash. "Controlling?" I choked, my voice breaking raw with pain. "Nathan, I gave up everything. My car, my dad's memory, my sleep, for you, for us. I thought you'd be proud that we were in this together." He scoffed, his voice a blade, cutting through the cider's sweetness. "Together? You decided, Rachel. You always decide, and I'm suffocating under your plans." His words hit like an avalanche, burying my heart. 8 years, I sobbed, my voice cracking, tears streaming. "I carried us, and you call my love control? You're breaking my heart, Nathan." I turned, stumbling to the porch, the lavender bushes swaying in the snowy dark, their scent sharp against the cold, my world in shards. I didn't sleep that night, curled on the porch swing, the creak of the chains a mournful lullaby, clutching a lavender sprig, its brittle leaves crumbling in my frozen fingers, its scent faint against the snow's crisp sting. Nathan's words, controlling, choking, looped in my mind, each one a wound. I'd sacrificed everything, my Subaru's rumble, Dad's legacy, countless nights, to free him, and he'd twisted my love into a cage. I pictured the years I'd spent, spreadsheets glowing under lamplight, cornbread warming our home, all for a man who saw my strength as a flaw. I could have screamed, left, demanded he beg for forgiveness. But as dawn broke, the lavender bushes glinting with frost, their purple spikes unyielding, I heard Mom's voice in my heart. Love doesn't crush you, Rachel. It builds you stronger. I had to reclaim my worth, not for Nathan, but for me. So I decided to host a freedom feast, not to honor our marriage, but to celebrate the woman I was, the planner, the giver, the dreamer, surrounded by those who saw my light. I wanted to fill our home with warmth, laughter, and Lavender's sharp grace, to prove I was more than his accusations. The next morning, I sat at my kitchen table, the air thick with the bitter tang of cold tea, steam curling like a fading dream, and started planning. I chose our backyard, where the lavender stood proud under winter's weight, as the setting. I made a list, chili rich with cumin's earthy heat, cornbread steaming with golden crust, mulled wine spiced with cloves' warm bite, and a playlist of my soul songs. Joni Mitchell's Tender Ache, the Lumineers' Raw Pulse. I called those who'd anchored me. Jess, who fought budget battles beside me. Tom, who knew Nathan's dreams. And my sister Ellie, whose hugs carried pine and home. I faced Nathan that evening, my heart pounding, the lavender sprig pinned to my chest. I'm hosting a feast this weekend, I said, my voice steady, though tears pricked my eyes. For me, for my freedom. You're welcome, but only if you face what you've done. His face crumpled, tears welling, his voice raw. Rachel, I'm so sorry, he whispered, reaching for me. I didn't mean it. You're not controlling. I was angry, lost. Please, let me fix this. I stepped back, my voice breaking, the lavender scent sharp. You called my love a cage, Nathan? I said, tears streaming. I gave you my everything, and you broke me. Show up, or let me go. He nodded, his voice choked. I'll be there, he said, his eyes desperate. I love you, Rachel. I'll prove it. I spent the day preparing, the kitchen alive with chili's sizzle, cornbread's sweet crumble, the clink of Mom's clay dishes on the table, their glaze gleaming. I hung string lights in the backyard, their amber glow dancing on the lavender, frost sparkling like stars, and set a framed photo of my parents beside a spreadsheet, its numbers my sacrifice, their smiles my strength. I wore a forest green dress, the lavender sprig a steady pulse, its scent a vow of resilience. The feast was set for Saturday evening, the sky a crisp blue, the lavender shimmering under frost's delicate veil. I stood in the backyard, my heart racing as guests arrived. Jess brought brownies, their chocolatey warmth curling in the air, her hug fierce. You're a titan, Rachel, she whispered, her voice thick. Tom carried mulled wine, its clove-spiced steam rising, his eyes soft. This is you shining, he said. Ellie squeezed my hand, her scarf rough, her voice breaking. You're my hero, sis. Nathan arrived, his jacket dusted with snow, his face raw with regret. Rachel, he whispered, his voice trembling. I'm here. I see you. I nodded, the lavender scent steady, and turned to my guests. As we sat, I stood, my voice quaking but fierce, the frost crunching under my boots. Thank you for being here, I said, tears welling, holding up my parents' photo. Nathan called me controlling after I paid off his $70,000 debt. My car, my dad's savings, my heart. It broke me, but I'm here to reclaim me. The woman who loves, who plans, who rises. You see me, and I'm so grateful. Jess sobbed. You're unstoppable, Rachel. Ellie cried. You're enough, always. Tom added, his voice thick. You're a gift. Nathan's voice broke through, raw, trembling. Rachel, I was wrong, he sobbed, tears streaming. You're not controlling. You're everything. I was weak, scared, and I hurt the woman I love. I'm so sorry. I met his eyes, my voice cracking, tears falling. You didn't see me, Nathan, I said, the lavender's scent sharp. I gave you my soul, and you called it a chain. I'm here for me now. Friends shared stories. Jess about our spreadsheet marathons, coffee staining our hands. Tom about my support at Nathan's gigs. Ellie about our childhood dreams under starry skies. Their words wrapped me, a lifeline. As we ended, Clara's son, Liam, ran up, his boots crunching, offering a drawing of me with a lavender crown. You're awesome, Miss Rachel, he said, his voice bright. I knelt, tears spilling, the paper crinkling. Thank you, Liam, I choked. I'm trying to be. I'd done it, reclaimed my heart, my home, my light, under frost and lavender's fierce grace. The next morning, Nathan found me in the kitchen, stacking Mom's clay dishes, their glaze catching the sunlight, the air heavy with coffee's nutty warmth, its steam curling like hope. Rachel, he said, his voice raw, trembling like wind over the peaks. I need to talk. Last night you were radiant, unstoppable. I was a fool to call you controlling. I know what you gave up, your car, your dad's memory. I'm ashamed, and I love you. I set down a dish, the lavender sprig still pinned, its scent faint but fierce, and faced him, my eyes burning. You broke me, Nathan, I sobbed, my voice shattering, tears scalding my cheeks. I gave you my everything, my dreams, my nights, my heart, to free you, and you called my love control, like I was your jailer. How could you do that to us? He sank to his knees, his face crumpling, tears dripping like snow melt. I'm so sorry, he cried, his voice breaking raw as a wound. I was lost, Rachel, my music failing, me failing. I felt small next to you, and I lashed out. You're not controlling. You're my strength, my home. I love you, and I've destroyed us. I clutched the table, the coffee's bitterness sharp, my heart torn. Love doesn't wound like that, I choked, tears streaming, my voice raw. I carried us, Nathan. Every number, every dish, every sprig of lavender was for you. You didn't see me. You saw a flaw, and I had to learn I'm enough without you. He reached for my hand, his fingers shaking, his voice desperate, pleading. I see you now. He sobbed, his words heavy with pain. You're a light I dimmed, the strongest woman I know. I don't deserve you, but I'll fight for you. Therapy, honesty, my whole heart. Please, Rachel, give me a chance. I pulled back, the lavender's scent a steady pulse, my heart aching but firm. I don't know if I can trust you, I said, my voice cracking, tears warm. You broke our team, Nathan, the life we built. I'm not the woman who carried you. I'm choosing me, my joy, my worth. His shoulders shook, his voice a whisper, raw and broken. You're right, he said, tears falling. You're incredible, and I failed you. I'll spend my life proving I can be worthy if you'll let me. I thought of Liam's drawing, the lavender in my garden, their spikes defiant in the frost, and softened, but my resolve held. If we try, it's slow, I said, my voice steady, the dishes cool under my fingers. Therapy, truth, no more blame, but I'm not waiting for you to save me, Nathan. I'm living my life, for me. He nodded, his eyes desperate but grateful, his voice choked. "I'll do the work," he said, his words fragile, trembling. "I love you, Rachel, more than I've shown." "Thank you." He left, the door creaking shut, and I stood in the kitchen, the silence heavy but not suffocating, the coffee's warmth curling in the air. Over the next weeks, my community held me tight. Jess texted, "You were a goddess, Rachel." That feast was pure fire. Ellie sent a pine-scented candle, writing, "You're a mountain, sis." Tom called, his voice thick, saying, "You showed us love, bold, unbreakable." Each message was a spark, rekindling my heart. Nathan started therapy, sharing notes, his guitar chords softer in the garage, but I kept my distance, needing space to bloom. I joined a hiking group, my boots crunching on snowy trails, the mountain air sharp and clean, my heart finding its rhythm. Liam's drawing stayed on my fridge, its crayon lines a beacon, reminding me of the love I'd grown. 4 months later, Nathan asked to meet. We sat at a coffee shop, the air thick with roasted beans, steam swirling from our mugs like whispered promises, the lavender pin on my jacket glinting under the morning light. He looked worn but clear, like a trail swept clean by wind. "Rachel," he said, his voice thick, trembling. "Therapy's been tearing me apart, showing me why I hurt you. I felt like nothing, my music failing, my debt crushing me, and I blamed you, the strongest woman I know. I broke your heart, our life, and I'll carry that forever. I want to earn you back, to be the man you loved." I studied him, tears pooling, my heart soft, but guarded, the lavender scent steady. "Nathan," I choked, my voice shattering, the coffee's bitterness sharp. "I gave you my soul. Every number, every dish, every sprig of lavender was for us. You called my love control, and I had to fight to know I'm enough alone. I'm open to trying, slowly, honestly, but I'm whole now. I don't need you to complete me." He reached for my hand, his fingers trembling, his eyes wet like frost on dawn's grass. "I see you," he sobbed, his voice raw, breaking. "You're radiant, Rachel. A strength I failed. I don't deserve you, but I'll try every day to be worthy. Thank you for this chance. For you." I squeezed his hand, a fragile thread, and smiled, tears warm on my cheeks. "It's not a vow," I said, my voice soft, the coffee steam curling between us. "It's a beginning." We started small. Hikes where Nathan bared his fears, his chords gentler. Potlucks where we laughed, fragile but real, the air warm with chili and hope. It wasn't the dream I'd held, but it was honest, messy, and ours. That accusation, that pain, shattered me, but it set me free. It taught me that love isn't just given, it's truth, courage, choosing yourself when someone twists your heart. I stood up for Rachel, not to break Nathan, but to honor the woman who plans, who loves, who grows lavender that thrives through any frost. As I sit here now, Mom's clay dishes stacked neatly, their glaze catching the sunlight, I feel her whispering, "You're enough, Rachel. You always were." This story isn't just mine. It's for anyone who's given their all, who's felt their love weaponized, but chose to rise, to bloom. Share your story in the comments. How did you find your strength after a wound? Your voice matters. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you in the next story.